On Reality Check today, it is the countdown to the 2019 elections, and we're today going to talk about the alliance moves by the two big parties, the Congress and the BJP. Over the last few days and weeks, we've seen them reach out and in some cases also seal key alliances. In the past as well, we've seen performances in 2014 and previous elections, all dependent on the kind of alliances that the two big parties have made. And usually they have held the key to whether a party has won or not. What's interesting though is what we're seeing this time is that both parties, the Congress and the BJP, are changing their techniques according to the surveys that they're getting, according to the mood of the nation that they feel. And that's why today, with a panel of experts, and we're going to focus more on analysts and psephologists, we're going to look at the two parties and compare the kind of alliance moves that they've made till now. And what we're going to do when we speak to our panelists is that we're going to go state by state to figure out what is the strategy that both parties are adopting, and out of them, which one works best. Of course, as we speak, there are also moves by both parties to announce their candidates as well. So this is something that is happening right now, and we are seeing the changing dynamics and shifting techniques. For instance, the BJP, if it was being very, very generous with all its allies just 2 or 3 weeks ago, post the airstrikes, there seems to be a shift with them as well. At the Congress, which looked like it was all for, all giving in their grand alliance, seems to have also upped their confidence after their win in the 3 states. But could that be going over to arrogance on their part, as some smaller parties seem to suggest? That's what we're going to talk about. And joining us right now, we have Yogendra Yadav, who's the national president for the Swaraj India Party, also a very well-known psephologist, and we have Sunita Aaron, who's a resident editor, Hindustan Times, joining us from Lucknow. We also have Dr. Sumant Raman. He is a political analyst and based in Chennai. Remember, in the south, we're seeing lots of key announcements being made as well. Thank you both for joining. Thank you all for joining us. Let's just start first with the biggest state, the one which is said to hold key, is said to be key for any election that happens, any general election. That's Uttar Pradesh. Now, as far as we know, till now, that's been the site of the Grand Alliance, and every day we hear new instances, and when we speak to the Congress party, they say that the alliance possibility and an understanding with the BSP-SP is still possible. However, when Akhilesh Yadav spoke on Wednesday, he was very clear that the Congress is part of the Mahagathbandhan. However, it's limited to 2 seats. So is it because the Congress is being tough, and are they expecting too much? And let's look at the other side. If you look at the BJP, well, they had unhappy allies as well. The Apna Dal was quite vocal about the fact that their demands, that they weren't consulted by the bigger ally. However, after making all those noises, what we've seen is in the recent past that the BJP may have contained that unhappiness and may have cajoled them as well. Yogendra Yadav, what is your assessment? We're going to go state by state. So when you look at Uttar Pradesh, which of the two big parties is looking like they've got their act together?
At the moment, no one. There is a pre-Pulwama situation, there is a post-Pulwama situation. Pre-Pulwama, BJP was completely on the defensive. SP-BSP alliance is so formidable that, they could be somewhat confident that they have it in their pocket. Post-Pulwama, the assessment, we don't quite know whether this would play out. We don't know how it might peter off in the next few weeks or so. But post-Pulwama, the initial assessment was that that BJP has done a little better because of national security issue. The ploy of the BJP to keep voters focused on national security issue, that would work to its advantage. And therefore, while pre-Pulwama, SP-BSP alliance alone was necessary and sufficient, and Congress was a bit of a distraction in that and was kept out. To my mind now, for the anti-BJP coalition to work, they probably need Congress as well, which is not going to be easy. But I do not see how a partial alliance would be so confident to overtake the BJP. At the moment, I would still feel SP-BSP alliance has the advantage, has the upper hand. But in Uttar Pradesh, having upper hand is not enough. The question is whether SP-BSP alliance can reduce BJP to 35 seats, to 25 seats or to 15 seats. That's where the real big change is all about. And if they want to reduce the BJP to something like 10 to 15 seats or hold them between 10 to 20, then they need Congress, they need RLD. A genuine Mahagathbandhan is required, which is not on the cards so far.
It's not on the cards so far, and that's what we hear from various alliance partners in that as well, Yogendra Yadav. They talk about the fact that BSP chief Mayawati is very, very upset with the way the Congress handled things in Madhya Pradesh, and that's why she is not at all keen on giving up any part of her seats. She's contesting 38, of course, out of the 80, and doesn't want to give any part of that. Sunita Aaron, what is it that you're hearing over there? We're of course also joined by Vivek Reddy, but I want to go across to Sunita Aaron. Do you agree with Yogendra Yadav there, or do you think, can you comment on the fact that it looked like the BJP had upset allies in Uttar Pradesh as well, the smaller parties? Do you think they've managed to fix that problem? Sunita Aaron, yes, that question's for you. Okay, we seem to be having a little bit of problem there getting through to our guests. So, Yogendra Yadav, let me just take that question to you as well. You've talked about how the Grand Alliance is needed. Why did you say that the NDA may not be doing better?
I mean, the basic arithmetic of Uttar Pradesh is such that SP-BSP coalition, both in terms of its electoral record and in terms of the social coalition that it would lead to, is an overwhelming coalition. It's a very large coalition of the kind Uttar Pradesh has not seen in the last 20 years, almost 25 years now. So, yes, it was the dominant one. Yes, BJP was on the back foot. BJP was extremely worried, and they don't have too many options in terms of possible new allies. So, BJP, Uttar Pradesh was and continues to be a very major worry for the BJP, notwithstanding any grandstanding that they might display. The question is, what is the impact of Pulwama, Balakot, and so on? No one quite knows. BJP might wish to imagine that they have managed to swing everything. Opposition might imagine that nothing has happened. But I think it's best to wait for a couple of weeks to see how it settles down.
Okay, how it settles down. What's also interesting, like you're saying, things very different. You talked about the post-Pulwama and pre-Pulwama impact. And so one of the things that we are seeing is that now, in between, we didn't see that. Now BJP has started talking about is bar 400 out of the 543 seats. They've started talking about that again. Sunita Aaron, do you want to talk about out of BJP and the Congress, who is doing better with allies in Uttar Pradesh?
I think BJP, you see, after they assess that they're going to lose seats in North, because North they had done very well in 2014. So they have to offset their losses, say from Tamil Nadu, from South, from Northeast. So they became very aggressive and they did their alliances, I think, faster than Congress. Now Congress policy throughout has been, I think, till 1999 when Vajpayee ji formed NDA. Till then they have been reluctant to form any alliances. It was in 2004 that they formed alliances and they went ahead with regional parties. But Congress would always want to have, they would like to be the big brother while dealing with regional parties, even though their health may be poorer in certain states. And that becomes an issue. Of late, they have been trying to, Congress has taken up alliances in certain states. They are trying to do it, but I think BJP is doing it in a more aggressive manner than Congress.
That's very, very interesting. The entire thing about Big Brother. In fact, many are pointing out that if you look at the Congress's attitude, it's changed after the 3 states win. Perhaps they're in such and they feel that they can do it even alone. That's why that's what we're hearing from various states. If you look at Bengal, where the left said to them that we can have an understanding and no contest in 6 seats, it's been completely rejected by the Bengal Congress. Not just that, we see them also driving a very hard bargain in Karnataka as well, where they are stuck now. Those talks also in a deadlock. We're seeing them also demanding much more in Delhi, where the Aam Aadmi Party was willing to give them 1 seat because they didn't win anything in 2015. And yet Congress has completely rejected that and said that they need to build up their own. If I can just go across now to Sumant Raman, one of the things that we heard Yogendra Yadav and Sunita Aron say is that the BJP is focusing because they feel that they've reached saturation point in Uttar Pradesh. They feel that they can gain much more in Tamil Nadu. What's interesting and Tamil Nadu and of course the rest of the south as well. What's interesting, of course, is we've seen the single-minded focus. While everybody had suspended their political work because of the Pulwama attack, on that day as well, we saw crucial talks being held by the BJP senior leaders in Tamil Nadu. Has that single-minded focus paid off, Sumant Raman? Are we seeing that because they were the first ones to announce the alliance in Tamil Nadu and they had that, you know, quick mover advantage over the over the Congress?
Yeah. Sunitra, before I get to Tamil Nadu, I think the stark difference in the way the Congress has gone about things before the 3 state victories and after the 3 state victories is completely, I mean, it's like day and night. And I think that they're making a huge mistake. Whoever is telling them that they are doing fantastically well across the country is making a huge blunder. In Uttar Pradesh and in Delhi, they need the alliances more for projection of a sense of unity and putting up a common candidate against the BJP. Look at what BJP has done after the loss in the 3 states. I mean, what kind of things were said by the Shiv Sena? Mr. Amit Shah put all that aside, went and personally with Mr. Gadkari stitched up the alliance with the Shiv Sena. And then in Tamil Nadu, I mean, 3 months ago, people were saying 39-0 in favor of the DMK Congress, which effectively is the UPA. Now they've stitched up a really formidable alliance in all of 2.5 months' time. I think that the Congress is completely outplayed as in the last few weeks. If they don't see the writing on the wall, that look, the very important thing that the Congress needs to realize, and I don't think they've realized this, is if Mr. Modi is back in office after the elections, it is a matter of time before they lose at least 2, if not 3 of those state governments that they are having with razor-thin majority or alliances. Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Karnataka could be gone in a year's time. And then the Congress would be back to, Puducherry, Punjab and, the Parivar comment that was made, maybe with Chhattisgarh added. So if they can't see that, God really help them. They need to stitch up UP, they need to stitch up Delhi to make sure, because even if the lack of an alliance with the Congress, SP, BSP in UP, even if it gives the BJP an additional 10 seats or 15 seats as it were, we don't know how much it's going to cost.
Okay, so these 2 states that you mentioned, Sumant Raman, I want to take that back to Yogendra Yadav. The 2 seats where it looked like the NDA was making, it put aside its differences, are the 2 states of Maharashtra, where they have been very accommodating with Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena, as just a reminder, viewers, went into this alliance. They were very, very dismissive. They were also, there were lots of insults that they were passing against their alliance partners before it. But at the end of the day, the BJP gave 23 out of the 48 seats to the Shiv Sena, making them very, very happy. And in Bihar as well, it's an equal that we've seen, 17 seats each. So equal partnership. Yogendra Yadav, is that something that you would acknowledge that the BJP is doing right? As we've said, that's something Sunita Aron also said, Sumant Raman also said, that we don't see that in the Congress of treating their allies as equal partners.
I wouldn't know of what's happening inside these negotiations. I'm not privy to any of these things. I simply read newspapers and draw my conclusions. It is quite evident that BJP's single-minded pursuit of power, will to power, and capacity to react very, very swiftly to changing situations is something for which Congress is no match at all. To my mind, of the various alliances that we have discussed, Maharashtra is a good example of BJP's capacity to realize that they are very weak, they need Shiv Sena, and then forget all their honor and everything, go and do the deal, which is what they have done. On Tamil Nadu, though Mr. Raman would know much more than I do, my own sense is that Congress is not a main player in Tamil Nadu. Congress is a very marginal player. The real player is DMK. And DMK is the one who stitched the alliance. Although BJP has an alliance, I don't know how useful is the alliance with this AIDMK faction that rules. They technically do rule. What kind of a share of popular votes would they have? Election would tell us. So I'm not so sure of. But having said all this, yes, there is certain sense of swiftness, a sense of purpose. BJP as a party has an overall design and architecture for this election, good or bad. But in the case of Congress, that architecture is not visible. So that is clearly the difference. I'm not sure about each state and how it should be played out, because only insiders know the game. But the larger point that remains is this, that post Pulwama, this Mahagathbandhan needs to be turned into a reality. So far, Mahagathbandhan is a name, it's a label with very little content inside, because what we have under the label Mahagathbandhan are actually partial regional state level coalitions which vary from state to state. After Pulwama, if the opposition is serious about taking the BJP on in the present climate, where BJP has really used national security as an issue to simply gain more votes and to arouse passions, the only strategy left to, one of the few strategies left to opposition, is to actually have a genuine opposition unity, which we don't see as yet.
Vivek Reddy, that all sounds very good for the BJP, but do you think there is a danger of overconfidence? For instance, yesterday at the meeting, everyone said and was very confident of the fact that DMDK would be part of it, but in the end we saw no show by them. And now we're hearing so many of your party colleagues say that they're going to be 400 plus now, just because of the airstrikes and the kind of, they feel the strong leadership has been successfully projected. But do you think there is a fear of overconfidence?
Well, I think we have gone through that phase, Sunetra. In the 3 state elections, we have really been humbled by any sort of overconfidence, if any, we had. And therefore, we are very careful. What Yogendra Yadav says is right. We are very watchful. We are very active to fluid situations. And more than anything, in the past 1.5 months, the cadre is up and working. You know, the preparatory meetings that are taking place and the scale in which they are taking place is really very good. And that seems to be really working for the party. So on the one hand, the grassroots workers are working and we are stitching these big alliances. And these 2 factors are really giving us some momentum in the election. So far as the strikes and other things are concerned, well, we are only saying that we want to keep this nation strong, and that signal has gone to the people of India, and it is up to them to choose, because under previous regimes there was no action taken. That issue at least is there before the people of India because of what happened previously and what happened presently. Now, so far as Congress is concerned, I think there are so many Khichdi Gathbandhans in different states, and that is really a cause for worry, because the larger big picture of one Mahagathbandhan facing the BJP is somehow not manifesting, and this will really go against them, because at local levels the Congress is boxed into making some local arrangements, and in some places, see, this is also a factor, right? People, the big brother parties don't want to ally with the Congress. They are distancing themselves from the Congress, like in UP, West Bengal. They say, no, we don't want you, you're not much of a reckoner here. So this is also really worrying for the Congress, for them to put up that scale of a fight with BJP.
Okay, and you know, just to give our viewers an instance of it, NDTV has also done a story today on how, just the kind of detail that is detail of attention that the BJP gives. They're having key rounds of interviews with all the sitting candidates because there's a feeling that there's quite a lot of anti-incumbency. So which of them should be retained? There's a whole round of interviews that they're going through and lots of feedback systems that are being done as well. But Sunita Aaron, if there's one thing that Yogendra Yadav is going on stressing is that they need that grand alliance if the opposition has to be successful, and that's the only kind of challenge to the BJP. Do you see signs of that? Because when I speak to various party leaders within the BSP and the SP, they are very clear that they don't seem very hopeful. Do you see signs of that?
Okay, before I come to UP, there are a few things I would like to say about NDA. Look, BJP is contesting this election to win it by hook or crook. They have realized that 2014 wave cannot be recreated, so they are willing to make compromises. On the other hand, Congress, after the 3 victories, somehow has become a little more overconfident, and they are trying to protect their own space. Instead of, Congress has to decide where they are fighting the election to defeat BJP or they're fighting election to have their own space in their respective states. And their own leadership is divided over about it. Coming to UP, Grand Alliance. Now, Grand Alliance, they've distributed the seats, but it has not filtered down to the ground level. There have been certain booth level committees where the workers of both the parties have met, they have discussed, but the way Bihar went, the way Lalu and Nitish Kumar, they went around and campaigned and sent a message to their cadre that, look, we have to support each other if we have to survive in politics. Like Lalu said, he told Yadavs that it's not my fight, it's your fight. If I don't survive, then you don't survive in Bihar politics. So similarly, I think Akhilesh and Mayawati will have to send a message, very strong message to their cadre that they have to be together to take on BJP or they're finished.
Okay, we're running out of time. Yogendra Yadav, I wanted to ask you, both BJP, go ahead, Sumantraman. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make a small clarification. I didn't, as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, I did say that the AIADMK BJP combined has put up a kind of a formidable alliance. Having said that, I still believe Congress DMK still has the edge in Tamil Nadu by 4-5 percentage points. But very importantly, we've all been blaming the Congress on the show. They have done reasonably well in some areas. They've stitched up an alliance with the JMM in Jharkhand. They've stitched up the NCP alliance. They've stitched up the JDS alliance in Karnataka. So it's not all bad. But I think the big, the public visible alliance that they need to get into in UP and in Delhi, I think that's where they're sort of dropping off the pace. There's still time. I think if they can work it out, then they would be they would have recovered much of the lost ground.
We only have a few seconds left. Do you think, Yogendra Yadav, with your inside knowledge of Delhi parties, do you think that an alliance is on the cards between the AAP and the Congress?
If there is one thing about which I have zero information, this happens to be one, and the reasons are very well known. So maybe I should not be commenting on it. All I can say is that in the larger picture, and I'm no longer a psephologist, the larger picture is that this election is not a political campaign. This is not a poll campaign. This is a poll capture which is taking place. A poll capture which can have very serious repercussions for the future of India. And if opposition parties are at all serious about what they say to the public, then it should be tested by how willing they are and how swift they are in stitching together a genuine grand national coalition. It has to happen within the next 1 week, otherwise it's not happening.
Okay, we're going to wait and see. Thanks so much to all my guests. And of course, so many of those states, things are still evolving. Still, the clearer picture of who's fighting with who is still not clear, and that's going to emerge in the next few days as we run up to the election dates being announced. That's it on Reality Check. Thanks to all my guests. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.